How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. I'm Solo Black 313 and I'm on the stairs. I bought some new sync gauges, so now we're going to go over to the storage garage and we're going to synchronize those carburetors. Now, if it's your first time here and you didn't catch it, I have 6 other past parts of Project 2000 Katana. I installed a new clutch cable, I installed a new neutral safety switch, I installed a new sprocket cover, I installed a new stator cover. So you guys can go back and check those other videos out, and that will be a perfect time, if you haven't subscribed, to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And that way you can keep up with all the progresses of Project 2000 Katana 750. All right, so let's get ready. We're going to go over to the storage garage and we're going to go ahead and sync those carburetors. And it is about time. All right, guys, as you can see, we're over at the storage garage, and I got the Suzuki, the GSXR600, all broken down and ready to take out the fuel rails, but that'll be at a later date. We're here to deal with the Katana. I've already warmed the bike up, and we're going to go ahead and balance the carburetors once I get the sync tools all hooked up. I got a brand new pair of sync tools. Let's go take a look at that. And these are the sync tools. I haven't hooked up the hoses yet, so I'm going to go ahead and hook those hoses up. And then we'll get them on the bike, and then we'll start balancing those carburetors. So give me a second to hook the gauges up. Okay, guys, these are the Vevor V-E-V-O-R gauges I got off of Amazon. I think I paid right around $45. Now you can already see I've hooked the hoses up to the individual gauges, and so that's ready to go. And then you get an assortment of attachments to attach to the carburetor, so you can go ahead and sync it up. It's nothing special. I think I say it's about 45 bucks I spent. So these are the gauges that we'll be using to sync the carburetors on the Katana 750.
Because the Katana is an air and oil cooled bike, I turned the fan on so the bike wouldn't overheat. Alright, I have the gauges all hooked up. I have the fan blowing across the radiator for cooling. And check out the gauges, guys. I slowed it down, I stopped them. Check out the gauges. Now these gauges were put on out the box. Now, the guy told me he had the motor rebuilt. And I think whoever rebuilt the motor adjusted the carburetor. Now, even though they've been sitting for 15 years, these gauges are spot on. I mean, there's nothing really for me to do with the adjustment of the carburetors. I don't need to adjust them. So I'm going to call that job done.
Okay, guys, I just want you to listen to this bike. I mean, it sounds good. Now, one thing I did do is I changed the plugs and I changed the oil. And I installed a new air filter. And it's right at 1,000 RPM, 1,000 RPM, 1,100. So it's pretty good, but it sounds pretty good. There's no missing, there's no sputtering. So I think that's it now.
The only other thing that I really have to do to make this bike 100% roadworthy is to go ahead and do the tank. Now, in an earlier video, you saw me use some Evapor Rust, and then off camera, after about 8 days of using the Evapor Rust, I went ahead and I bought a low acid, which is distilled white vinegar. And that did all right, but it wasn't the greatest. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do with the gas tank is go ahead and get some muriatic acid, some baking soda, and then I'm going to go ahead and line the tank myself. So that will probably be in part 8.
Well, all right, guys, we're back on the stairs, and I tell you, the balancing of the carburetors couldn't have gone better. I mean, my goodness. So like after I cut the camera off, I didn't want to leave, you know. I felt I could do better even though they were already sunk, you know, they were balanced. So I played around with the carburetor banks. So you're talking about carburetor 1 and carburetor 2 is one bank, carburetor 3 and carburetor 4 is another bank. Now, the different banks 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 were close. We're almost spot on, but there was a little bit of difference if you looked at each bank. So I used the center adjuster to bring bank 1 and bank 2 more into sync, and it's just nothing more refreshing when you hear that idle drop and you look at your gauge and it smooths out. So yeah, I'm running right around 1100 RPMs on the idle. Now I did have to kind of mess around with the air and gas mixture screw. I mean, that's to be, you know, accepted. That's to be expected. And I just kept blipping that throttle to make sure my gauges were staying where they were. This wasn't a fluke. So like I said earlier, that whoever installed that motor balanced the carburetors also, and that's just a great thing. I didn't have to do much. As a matter of fact, if you want to talk about the fueling of motorcycles, the fueling on that Katana750 right now, as it stands, is better than my GSXR600. You guys know I'm having sputtering issues, and the RPMs, when I get about 4,000 RPMs, it's falling on its face. Anything past 4,500 RPMs to about 10,000, it runs great. Over 9,000, over 10,000, it's falling on its face. So right now the Katana750 is running fueling wise better than the GSXR600. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end this one. The next episode will be episode 8, and that's where I'm going to finally tackle the gas tank. I'm gonna get it out the way. Like I said, I did the Evapor Rust for 8 days, and it cleaned it out pretty good. And then I went and bought some distilled vinegar. I shot about 5 gallons of distilled vinegar in there, let that sit for another 5 days. And when I emptied that stuff out, man, I tell you, it was better. It got better each time, but something I did was my mistake when I emptied the, when I did the last rust proofing. I didn't put any oil or gas mixed in the tank, and it flash rusted, and I was supposed to come back the next day, and I didn't get back over to the storage garage for like 3 days, and now it's all rusted out. So now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to pick up some muriatic acid and some baking soda. I'm going to combine the baking soda with water. So I'll get a gallon of muriatic acid, a gallon of water baking soda mist, and then I got the POR15 fuel tank sealer. And I'm going to seal it myself all in one shot, get it done in one time. So I figure it's going to probably take about to do the muriatic acid and then do the water and baking soda to stop the effects of the acid. Once I empty the acid out of the tank, you should put some water and baking soda to stop the effects of the acid in that tank immediately. And then I'm going to dry the tank out, and I'm going to add the POR15 and coat the tank. And altogether, you should let that sit for like 3 or 4 days. So that's what we're gonna be doing next. Now, hey, if this is your first time to my channel, and this is the first one of the videos that you've ever seen, go back and check out Project Katana750. Now, so far we're up to part 7. And also, it would be a great time if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. hit the bell notification. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. All right, now, if you guys want to reach me, recently I did start a Facebook, and the Facebook is Solo Black, no 313. Just send me a friend request and we'll go ahead and get you started. And if you on Instagram, it's Solo Black 313. Now, I'm more into the Facebook than Instagram. One of my Instagrams got hacked, so it's really easier to get in touch with me on Facebook. So that's Facebook, and the name on it is just Solo Black, no 313. Wow, got that all out of the way. So now, once again, I'm Solo Black, and I always say rise and ride. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I want everybody to be safe this holiday season. God bless, and I'll get with you the next time.